Golly, that's good.
I haven't found my first Blanton's.
Wow. That's different. I really like that.
Peychauds or Peychauds or...
Yeah, now I'm gorgeous.
Although probably fuzzier was better.
Okay. So, this is not what I expected. Hey, it's Wednesday. It's time. Let's do this. Spencer's watching. Spencer, hey, how are you? Larry's watching. Got some new names. I think, Larry, you've been with us before. Spencer, I don't know if you have or not. If you were and I didn't know it, welcome to the show. I'm going to tell you right now, I've had Booker's before, and it's not a bourbon to be trifled with. It is serious. I had it in South Carolina in 2020, and I was like, huh. And I didn't know much about it. I just knew that it was very spicy and very hot, and I didn't know anything else. I didn't have access to the bottle. I couldn't look at the notes or anything like that. So what I did today is I was researching this particular bottle. Hey, Mac, how are you, sir? I'm glad you're with us. I went back and I started researching this bottle, and I found out why it was just so intense. And even the website says, look, this is an intense pour, so don't be looking for anything timid. Let's get into it. Now, the other thing you need to know is that I pre-opened this and I pre-poured it. It hasn't been opened very long. I opened it maybe 10 minutes ago, and I poured this about 5 minutes ago. And while we're going through this stuff about Booker's, I'm going to let it sit, because everything I found out online says let it sit. They say up to a half hour. We don't have that kind of time, so I'm going to let it sit as long as I can, and maybe I'll occasionally swish. I'll swish. We'll get into the Booker stuff. I got to show you guys something. Aaron's here. Got mine out, but I know mine is hot. Right. So, okay, we got 7. Okay. I'll do it. Some friends came over. Sunday night, I think. Saturday night, Sunday night, something like that. And, the one guy, Jeremy, brought me a present. And I'm trying to think of a good way to tee this up, but there's no good way to tee this up, because it's just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. This is a Jack Daniel's stave. And he's got a company called 3 Oaks. That's the number 3 and Oaks. And he made me, I don't know if you can see it. If I hold it just right in the light. There. It says beautiful bourbon and splendid spirits on it. He engraved that on here. I mean, you can still smell. He did stain this, but I can still smell the whiskey in this. Oh, isn't that the nicest thing? I've got a bar upstairs. I've got one down here. I've got one everywhere. But I've got one upstairs, and I've had this on top of that bar upstairs. Now, in some time, I will put like a hangy thingy on each one of these sides, and I'll hang it. And I might even hang it back here. I don't know. But this is one of the nicest gifts I've ever gotten. It's, hi, Austin. How are you, man? This is just one of the nicest things that anybody's ever given me. I've gotten some nice gifts. I mean, Tom was here a while back, and he gave me that Jim Beam bottle from 1980, the Mount St. Helens explosion with the ash in the back. Go back and watch that one. That was really cool. But this is just the nicest thing. I tell you what, I love this. And I am totally 100%, 110% grateful for this gift. Beautiful Jack Daniel's stave with beautiful bourbon and splendid spirits engraved on the front. Or is it engraved? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's just beautiful. Just gorgeous. It makes me very happy, and I'm indebted. I feel like, I'm not a good gift getter. I always kind of feel like, what did I do to deserve that? I was picking up railroad ties at the guy's house and accidentally backed my trailer into his siding. You don't normally turn around and give somebody a gift like this after you run into their house. But it was really nice. Let's see. Okay, I got some people. Hi. All right, so that was really, really nice of him to give me that. Now, let's talk about Booker's. Jeremy's wife, the guy who made it, is with us tonight. Yeah, I got to play with the laser. So it's a laser engraver. I got to show you that video that I took of the laser engraver. You're gonna want it. I'm telling you. But isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. I love it. So, like I said, right now it's above my bar upstairs. It's a good place for it. But I may, like I say, I may find a way to mount it down here or something like that. I don't. The thing of it is I'm not always going to be in this location. I sometimes go upstairs. I sometimes go outside. Although I've got to beef up my internet if I'm going to do that again because it just hasn't been working out very well. So anyway, all right. Booker's Bourbon is a rarity in the bourbon market because they don't advertise and they don't go on social media. I know you're like, what? Everybody's on social media. These guys aren't. And I mean, if they are, then, you know, their website lies. But now Jim Beam is, that distillery is, and probably the Booker's distillery is, but Booker's brand is not. I didn't fact check that. I took them for their word. I know that's antiquated. I took them for their word. All right. So word of mouth is what propels this brand. Of course, the bartenders propel this brand. It's not on store shelves very often. Hey, Ken, how are you? Michael's with us, too. Awesome. Awesome, you guys. I'm glad you're here. Booker's is barrel proof, uncut, and unfiltered. And that sounds to me like everything that I like. I love it uncut and unfiltered. Booker himself, Booker No, said that this is a bourbon that has everything it was born with. So, of course, it goes into the barrel at around 125 proof. And then from there, it does its thing, right? This is the highest proof product that you can get from Jim Beam Distillery. This Booker's is. Booker's got its start in 1992 and is a blend of barrels aged in the very center of the rickhouse. They release several batches per year, all of them different in taste and proof and blend. Not all, and all of them in small batches, which, by the way, is a term that evidently Booker No coined. He was the first to say something was in small batch, and they give him the credit for it. His last name is spelled N-O-E, so some people will look at that and say Booker Noe, but it's actually Booker No is how you pronounce it. And I'll tell you what, it took me some time on the internet to find that out today. I found a beautiful retrospective. I'll find it again and post it in the notes under this video after we're done. Really beautiful video, and I got a lot of information out of it. But they never said his last name through the whole thing. It was like a 12-minute video. They never said his last name at all. I had to find that someplace else. A Kentucky Distillers video or something like that. But it's pronounced No. All right, so you'll never buy the same blend twice. And according to Fred No, that's on purpose. That's the whole point. Remember, Jim Beam is a whiskey that tastes the same every time you open it. The 80 proof, whatever it is, it's going to be the same. It's a blend. It's never different. It is what it is, and that's what you can count on with Jim Beam. Jim Beam is the largest distillery in the country and the #1 distiller, I think, in the world. So, and the best-selling brand. Fred says, we try to make them a little different if possible because if you don't, it's just the same thing. Then what's the point of naming the batches? Some people, some loyal fans, they like to go back and compare one to another. So I happen to have 2 of these, and I have one more from 2021, and I haven't compared them. I haven't opened them, obviously. They're just open for the first time now, and this one I'm letting breathe. I like the fairy lights. You like the fairy lights, Michael? Thank you. Those are actually pretty cool. They're battery operated, and they come on these little sticks, but you can't see it behind the curtain very well. And sometimes I'll have them on for Christmas, and you know. Now, one thing about this bottle that I don't like, and it has something in common with other bottles, Evan Williams, Knob Creek, they use this wax. This is a 2-year-old bottle. This is probably a 2.5-year-old bottle. And that wax just does not hold up over time. And, you know, I was taking it, making it open, you know, opening it, making it open. I was opening it. And that wax crumbled and cracked and got all over everything. It's just a mess. I don't love the wax. It has a nice kitschy value, and maybe it's nice for Maker's Mark because they have the double dunk and all those different things. Okay. Can we just... Okay. That's all. I don't love the wax. All right. Let's see. So this is Granny's batch, the first batch released from 2020, named after Margaret Beam No, the mother of Booker No, who was the youngest of Jim Beam's children. The mother was the youngest of Jim Beam's children. Margaret was. So now Booker's son, Fred, and grandson, Freddie, act as the master distillers. Mostly Fred, but Freddie's getting in there too. He's the 8th generation. He's working on it. 2020 batches that followed this were the Boston batch, which of the 3 I understand wasn't so good. That's one that the youngest of the nose got into and helped mix, helped blend. And I guess it was the least successful. This is about the middle, the Granny's batch, and then the number 1 is the pigskin batch, which this was supposed to have been selected around Christmas of 2019. The second one, the Boston, was in the middle of the year, and then the pigskin came out in the fall. Pigskin football. And I guess it was the best. Best of all 3 of them from 2020. All the batches have a different label, a dedication to something having to do with the family memories, and a little card inside. They all come with this little card that give you basically everything I'm telling you about this batch. It tells you on the back here what rick houses, well, it's all one rick house, but what, I got it on here. What floor, the 4th floor, 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor, 9th floor, 9-story, what warehouse, all that stuff. I guess it is more than one rick house, but tells you all that stuff, tells you why they named it, and about this label, why they chose that label, which is also on the bottle right here. So, you know, everything has a story, and it's all family related. Let's see. Booker was huge into family and history and loved to fish, especially with his grandfather, Jim Beam, who he held in very high esteem. Now, Booker himself passed away February 24th in 2004. Booker was a big guy. He was not a small man. And when interviewed, he spoke of his love for rich foods. And when asked about fish, which is lean compared to everything else, he said, "We fry the hell out of them." So he lived to be about 70 years old. Booker's touch is all over Knob Creek, Baker's, and Basil Hayden brands as well. And he called this the ultimate bourbon. And again, I'm letting it sit for just a little while. I opened it early. I poured it early just because this sucker, it's said that the neck pour is particularly harsh. Some people have said they'll let it sit, they'll open it, they'll pour one out, and they'll let it sit for 2 months before they come back to it. And then it's really opened up. So we'll be adding water to it tonight, and we'll see what we can do with it. This batch is made up of barrels from 2 different production dates that were aged in 6 different locations within 4 rickhouses. The breakdown of barrel storage is 24% came from warehouse G, 22% came from warehouse H, 16% came from the 4th floor of 7-story warehouse L, 24% came from the 5th floor of that warehouse, 10% came from the 6th floor of that warehouse, 4% came from the 5th floor of warehouse P. That's a lot of work. The barrels were in the heart of the rick houses, and Booker called them the center cut, not because of heads and tails off of the pour itself, but because of where it sit in the rick house. On the lower racks, this is what he explained. I thought this was kind of interesting. On the lower racks, the barrel proof decreases maybe a quarter point per year, while on the top racks, the proofs increase due to higher evaporation. I didn't know that. And maybe that's common knowledge. There's a lot of houses, Jackie and I was there, place it huge. Okay. People do place this huge. They love this. Oh, you've been to the, oh, I got it. You got to the rick houses. Got it. The place is huge. I need to go. I haven't been there yet. I get what you're saying. They say this. I selected Granny's batch on a sunny, chilly January day. I'm wrong. January. And found the color to be a light chestnut with a beautiful sparkle as the sunlight shone through it. All this is written right here. I thoroughly enjoy the nose of Granny's batch with a spice and hints of vanilla coming through. The taste fills your mouth with flavor and warmth that spreads across your palate, and it has a sweet, lingering finish. I'm very proud to name this batch for my grandmother and Dad's mom, who I knew would have enjoyed her evening highball made with Granny's batch of Booker's bourbon. All right. So, the higher you go up, the hotter it is, the more it evaporates. That's correct. That's exactly right. Now that's going to change the amount of evaporation throughout the year because of the climatic changes, but you're right. I mean, even in the dead of winter, it'll be warmer up top. They don't air condition it, they don't heat it, but it'll be warmer up top even by just a couple of degrees. The mash bill on this is 77% corn. That surprised me because this is a spicy pour. It is only 13% rye and 10% malted barley. You would think that this would have a very, very sweet palate, but when I've had it, now that's just this one, and I've got other ones and they may be completely different. But this one has a very high corn mash bill. New charred oak casks, barrel char number 4. That's the chariest you can get. Barrel entry proof was 125. That's the legal limit. You can't go any higher than that when putting it in the barrel. Age, and that's all brands. All brands of bourbon. 125 is the top that you can put it in the barrel, and it just grew from there. Aged 6 years, 4 months, 21 days. It is 126.4 proof. They cover it on the tour. Well, maybe one of these days, Aaron, I'll get to take that tour. That would be nice. I would like to do that. Maybe this fall sometime. I had promised myself I was going to go down to Louisville this summer and get my executive bourbon steward certification. I just haven't done it. I'll do it. Just not now. Okay. The Booker No Distillery in July announced a $400 million expansion in Boston, Kentucky. The expansion is supposed to create another 50 full-time jobs, and I read this somewhere. This sounds crazy, but they want to go with like an average of $51 per hour. Now I know you're all thinking, let's go, $51 an hour. It's $100,000 a year. The thought has crossed my mind. Work at Jim Beam for $51 an hour? Work around what you love? Shoot. Tie me down to keep me from going, right? All right, here we go. This is set out for about 27 minutes. It's been poured about 20 minutes ago, so let's see how we get through this. Zach is watching. Hey, Zach, thanks for the fishing tip earlier. I was asking online some places to go to fish, and he answered me off of those posts. But all right. I'm using this glass instead of a Glencairn because with its high proof and my experience in the past with it a couple of years ago when I drank it, I wanted to let it breathe more than it would have in a Glencairn. This is the Bourbon Trail glass. Sometimes just called a bourbon glass. I'm surprised it only has 10% rye, or rather 13% rye. I'm getting baking spices, getting those toasted cereal notes. That's the first thing that I got. So it's, for some reason, it's rye forward, even though it's corn heavy. 77% corn. But there is something sweet. That's got to be that corn influence. Boy, is that tough to... The oak is coming out very nicely. Gosh. Honeycomb. Not honey. Honeycomb. Which is going to be slightly more earthy than that sweet honey scent. Honeycomb I'm getting. Maybe some marshmallow. And this is on the nose. I know it's lying to me. I know I'm going to take a sip of this. I'm going to be... But 2 years ago, I wasn't near as into bourbon as I am now, and I hadn't tried nearly as many. So who knows? Maybe I will absolutely love this. We'll see. Whoop. There I am spilling. I was looking at my phone and trying to swirl. You don't do that. Gas and sugar. Jordan's watching. Hey, Jordan. How are you? Aloha. Wrong side of the country for aloha, Jordan. But you're in the right climate. All right. Why did you say gas? Damn it. Now I got gas. All right. Okay. He's not wrong. But there's something citrusy about it. Now, I don't know if there's something citrusy about gasoline. Graham crackers. That's what I'm getting at. Something's flying around my face. Graham crackers. All right, let's hoist the mainsail, shall we? The spiciness is in the proof. It's not in the bourbon itself, it's in the proof. What I didn't know when I drank it in 2020 was that it's barrel proof. That's what I'm getting. That's that alcohol, ethanol burn. That was the spiciness. Now that I've gotten through that, and it drinks hot, but it doesn't drink 126 proof hot. I'd give it 110. Very slow bloom. For those of you not familiar with the bloom is that spot on the tongue where the alcohol starts to burn and then it moves its way out. Sometimes with a really high proof, there is no bloom. It's just all over your tongue. Just rah! This one actually has a bloom, and it was a thick bloom. It started thick and it stayed thick and it moved so slowly. It didn't even hit the edges of my tongue. It just stayed in the center. Kind of nice, actually. Let's get into some of what people are saying. Sweet corn, no spilling. I spilled. There's that bug. Did I get it? I think I did. Hey, Blake, seen a lot of coyote running through my yard lately. Yeah, your son got one. Message me. Okay. All right, so we're off this subject now. Let's talk bourbon, guys. That's funny. All right, so sweet corn. Well, yeah, I mean it's 77% corn. Let's do number 2 now that my palate is primed and ready. Put me in, coach. This one you're going to taste up in your nose. You're going to taste this all up through your sinuses. It's not like St. Elmo's shrimp sauce. If you've ever had that in Indianapolis, that'll take your breath away. And I mean literally. You eat shrimp with this sauce on it, you can't breathe. Because if you breathe, it hurts. All the horseradish in it. And I love horseradish. But this is some hot sauce. Anyway, this isn't like that. It's actually quite pleasant as it finds its way up through your sinuses. There's definitely a really nice vanilla on that. It's hot. It's a hot pour, but it's not as hot as I remembered it. And it's because probably back then in 2020, I didn't know how to taste it right. I didn't know that you're supposed to hold a high proofer and even really mid proofers on your tongue for a few seconds. You got to get your palate primed for that stuff. And this one is not too bad. It doesn't have a real long finish as far as the burn goes. It's there, but it's kind of short. And the finish on the flavors are kind of short as well. So let me hit this one more time. Well, more than one time. I'm going to hit it a few more times. I'm missing stuff. Fire, Nate says. It is. Sticks to the back. Did you open yours up, Aaron? Sticks to the back of the roof of your mouth. It does. Yes, I agree with you. That is, if there's any legs left in this, it's way back in the back of your throat and the top. There's flavor left there. Vanilla, sweet, something very sweet, sugary. It's pleasant. It's a really nice long finish right there in that one spot only, and that's it. All right. You picked up a little dirt. That may be the rye notes that I was sensing on the nose, even though it's only 13% rye. That you might be getting some rye notes, and I know you're not a rye fan. All right. Boy, that burp. I burped. And it brought up a flavor. Now I want to burp again because I actually want to say the flavor was bubblegum. I burped bubblegum. That's the thing that is shouting at me is bubblegum. How crazy is that? It's not the first time I've had bubblegum notes in my bourbon. And I think that's what I'm getting on the back too. That sweetness on the back is bubblegum. And it's not like gross bubblegum. It's good bubblegum. Like bubblicious bubblegum. Oh, I cracked myself up. I cracked myself up. All right. My comment got lost in the coyotes. Well, then I'm going to have to scroll down, Jeremy, and see what you said. Because, yes, you got lost. No spilling, alcohol abuse. Yeah, I know. How many have you tried? All right. 2. I don't know what batch. Yeah, actually, it's probably this one. Because I was in... now, it all depends. It could have been the last release of 2019 that I had in South Carolina. But I was in South Carolina for a film festival that I had a film in February of 2020. And we went hog wild in drinking. And there was one place left open one night. It was a nice place. I mean, it was really, really small. But they had a pretty nice selection of things that you could try. They had run out of all the Buffalo Trace stuff. So there wasn't any Blanton's, there wasn't any Eagle Rare, there wasn't any Buffalo Trace. I mean, all that was gone. And I didn't see Stag anywhere. But they had Booker's, and I was buying. I had several of my cast and crew there. So I was buying, and I said, well, let's try the Booker's. It took us a while to drink the Booker's. And after having a week of Eagle Rare and Blanton's and Buffalo Trace and all those things that those guys really wanted to try, all my cast and crew wanted to try, going from those to this was a culture shock. Okay? Okay. All right, let me hit this again. When it first hit the palate, and I said this last week too, surprisingly enough, it's happened 2 weeks in a row. Red hot candy. It's gone now. As soon as I put it on the palate, boom, right there, and then it was gone. So that's the way some notes work. That makes you sometimes you just want to take a tiny little taste. What does that give you? And we don't talk about that much. But that's another thing that you can do when you're tasting bourbon. I take relatively large drams-ish because I want to be able to chew it. I want to be able to swish it around. I want it to get in all parts of the nooks and crannies of my palate. But there is something to be said for taking tiny little sips and directing those sips, right? So let's say I want to direct a sip right to the tip of my tongue. Red Hots. That tiny little sip gave me red hots. You try it. I know, if you're used to drinking bourbon a certain way, it's going to seem weird to try something different, but, that's why we do water. I didn't get any ice. Oh, well, we'll just do water tonight. But trying different things, try different ways of drinking it, try different glasses. Put it in a big old rocks glass like this and see what changes about it. Put it in a Glencairn and see if it mellows out for you in the same amount of time that this one did. Try little sips. Try big gulps. You can do a whole bunch of things. Now, big gulps, make sure that you're good and ready for it when you're drinking 126 proof. All right, let me finish this one out and then we'll put some water on it. Just a little bit of licorice. And there for a second, I touched my tongue to the roof of my mouth, felt that ethanol burn. Now it's down, down, down. It just changes. The The more I drink, the more dirt I pick up. I'm not picking up dirt. I've had some pours that remind me of dirt. This is not one of them. Probably the most dirt-forward pour I ever had was the 10-year Whistle Pig Rye. I didn't like it. That one tasted like corn that somebody stepped on in like a dirty driveway. And I don't mean a dirt driveway. You know, that kind of loose dirt. Yeah, no. So when I think about dirt, I compare it to that Whistle Pig because I did not like it. I know a lot of people really love Whistle Pig. That one, it's the only one I've ever tried. I will try more. That one I did not like. Now, and then that was some time ago. So maybe I'll try it now and I'll like it better because, you know, there are some ryes that I like. I tend to like the Indiana ryes better than the Alberta ryes. The Alberta rye, the Alberta Premium. But you give me a Rittenhouse? Oh, yeah. All right, I'm missing stuff. Not a big fan personally. Zachary says, yuck. Well, you know, I'm not getting dirt. Now, check your batch. Which batch are you drinking? If yours is the Boston batch, I would understand why you're getting notes that you don't like. This is the Granny's batch of 2020, and you may be even drinking a 2021 batch, Aaron, so I don't know what it is you've got, but yours may be different than mine. This is Granny's batch, the first batch of 2020, all right? So check and see which batch is the one that you're drinking, Aaron, and let me know. It may be different. And I may try the same one that you're trying, and I may not like it either. There were some of the batches I got looking through, and they're all listed on the website. You can go through all the years and see what the mash bills were and where the barrels came from in the rick house, and which they call the rack house. Okay, fine, tomato. But it goes through all of them and tells you what they did in the back, and they're all different. And some of them only have like 4, 5, 6, places that they got it from. This one's got 6. I think one of them I saw had 4. One of them had 5. I mean, they're all different. All right, what do we have here? Granny 21. Granny 21. Granny came out in 2020. Did they have another Granny in 2020? I don't think they did. Look at that again. Speaking of grannies, got to call Mom, see if Grandma's still with us. Way to bring down the temperature of the room. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I'll say a prayer for your grandmother tonight. I didn't know that she was ailing, Zach, so my prayers are going to go out to her tonight. But yeah, so let me know what's going on with that later. Off this. All right. Okay. I promised you water. Let's do water. Now, I would be tempted to put in more than the normal amount. This is 1 milliliter that I just put in. I would be tempted to put in more just because of the heat on this one. But I don't want to go outside the norm just yet. Let me try this first one with the water in it that I put in it, and we'll just see what happens. You know how you flip a pancake or flip an egg without using a spatula? I find myself wanting to do that, and I just know it's going to get all over me. So I do my best just to swish it real good. $20. All right, so yours is the exact same as mine. You get the Granny's batch from 2020. All right. You and I are getting completely different notes out of this, but that's not the first time that's ever happened. You and I experience bourbons much differently. Now yours, I don't remember if you said yours had been opened already. This was a fresh crack tonight. So again, we're going to go back. There's another one that I was going to go back and revisit over time. It was the High West. Beginning of either the end of September or the beginning of October, I'm going to come back to this one. Aaron tried this one, and he said, you know what, you're going to like it better a month from now. So end of this month, we're going to come back and try this one. So maybe the beginning of October, we'll come back and we'll try this one again. Because after tonight, I'm not going to touch it again. Swear. Pinky swear. Promise. All right. So with a little bit of water on it, let's see what it does. Boy, that opened that up. Wow, I got apple. Apple's punching me in the face right now. It's very sweet. I have to imagine if this were a lower proof, it would be even that much more drinkable. I don't want to add more water to this. I could underproof it. I could drop it down more, but I'd be afraid of losing some of the nuances of the palate. Sometimes you just got to add a little water to it so you can taste it, and that opened it up. It changed the mouthfeel. Now the mouthfeel on this was already kind of nice, although it was a little bit hidden behind the proof. But this one, it just made it that much more silky. Again, I love an unfiltered bourbon. They make me happy. And now that I've added a little bit of water to it and reduced the heat some, that unfiltered nature of this particular pour is revealing itself that much more to me. And I'm liking that. I don't want to add any more water to it. I just don't think it would complement it. I think it would ruin it. I could be wrong. And I don't know how much a milliliter drops it. I wish I had like some sort of a thermometer, for a proof thermometer that I can put in there and find out what it is now. Because it's still over 100. It's still up there. Let's see. I said this was 126. Is that what I said? Yeah, 126 proof. So 126.4. I've also got a stronger batch. It's a little rougher. Both have been open a couple of months. Okay. All right. For it to be open a couple of months and still be rough, I would tell you don't buy this anymore. Put some water on it. See if you like it better. Because it opened it up. It gave it definitely some nice flavors. I'm going to do another one here. The oak is still there. It's number 4 char. But apple's what's leaping out at me the most. What you may be tasting, Aaron, is instead of dirt, might be peanuts. One of the reviewers said that they got peanuts off of it. I don't get peanuts off of this. I'm trying to find it, and I can't find it. So maybe that's what you're getting off of it. That sometimes that can be something that you taste. This is so overwhelmingly apple. I'm having trouble finding anything else. It's not honey. It's not toffee. It's not butterscotch. It's not. Maybe some marshmallow still. Graham cracker I'm not getting as much now, but I've had a few, so maybe my palate is almost not sensitive enough to keep trying this and getting new flavors out of it. I mean, even this, I'm getting numbness, right? Excuse me. Burp. Flavor. Nope. I'm getting some numbness right here. All right, I didn't say, I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try dropping it down just a little bit more. Let's see. Dirt, 100%. All right, so I am not going to add a full milliliter. That's about half. So that's 1.5 milliliters. Come on. How many morons does it take to screw a top on? One. And by volume, there's less volume because I tried it with the 1 milliliter. Now there's even less. So it could be the equivalent of 2 milliliters of water. All right. I'm really desperate to get more out of this than apple. Desperate may not be the word. Please! All right. Little licorice. Boy. Maybe some tobacco notes. I'm really reaching because it's just tough. I will tell you this. I think if you want to get the most out of the Bookers, you drink it slow. This that I've had so far, and it's not a proof thing, it's a fire thing. It's a well, I guess it is a proof thing, but it's not a I've had too much, so now I can't pay attention to any of it thing. It's more like if you want to get the most out of it, give it time to rest. After it's 126.4 proof, and there's going to be some numbing of the senses when you have something that is this high proof. This may be the most complex pour of the year. I don't know. The proof is hiding that, unfortunately. And the more I add water to it, the more I'm afraid I'm going to take away the nuances. So I'm not going too crazy on that. But I just want to say that if you want to get the other night, we tried one, and we took our time, and I don't remember which one it was. I'd have to go back and look. We took our time with it, and every time I sipped it, it was a different experience. And you'll probably know more than me. I don't remember which one it was. I think we're like at 114, 115 tonight, something like that, as far as Bourbcasts go. And I want to say that if you want to get the most out of this pour, you need to treat this the same way that I treated that one. And that is to take your time, right? Drink it, enjoy it, let it sit and get some air. 5 minutes later, there was a burp. Licorice and maybe some citrus. I know that's gross. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be gross, but let it sit a few minutes and then get your next sip and experience it. Now, the downside to doing that is the fact that you're taking that first sip and you're letting it swish around for 10 to 12 seconds because you want to get rid of the ethanol burn. You want to get rid of the ethanol burn so you can actually taste what's in the glass. You wait too long, every time you taste it, you're back to that burn again, and you got to redo it all. So, I don't know. Maybe take that first one, and then a second one after a minute or so, and then let it sit. And then do it again. There's so many notes that could be found in this that maybe aren't being found because I went too fast. Be the first time I've been. Never mind. I'm stopping right there. What do we got? I'll trade you bottles. Imagine they're the same thing. They come from the same place in the Rick House. They're the same. I felt very Seinfeld there. They're the same. All right. I didn't bring ice, so we're not doing that tonight. But I can tell you that this is a tasty pour. It's probably one of the highest proof bourbons I've had this year. The Nulu, it's over there. I'm not going to go running for it. The Nulu was up there, but this beats Rare Breed in proof by 14 points, something like that, 13 points. It's up there. 11 points. Whatever. I forget. It doesn't matter. But this is hot. And it does drink hot, but not as hot as 126 may betray. Real quick, just, as an aside, I'm going to put the cork back on this bad boy and let it sit for a couple of months, or a few weeks anyway. I love this. Knob Creek does have this. Knob Creek, of course, another Booker No brand. He's got his thumbprint all over it. It's got this nice little thing that holds it. Get it in there, turn it. Oh, yeah, there you go. There we go. Now it's in there. Keep the dust off of it. I like the packaging. As far as I know, all Booker's comes in this. Some Knob Creek comes in a wooden box. Doesn't make it special, but I do like it. It's pretty on the shelf, and you know, if you want to store cigars or something in it, you can, or produce, or marbles, whatever you want. I'm gonna put the card back in after a while, but hey, next week we're gonna go down in proofs and in price. This is like a $90 bottle. We're going to go down in both, and we're going to hit the Sagamore Spirit. This is a straight rye whiskey. This is batch 6B, bottle 450. This is only 83 proof. And I've heard nothing but good about the Sagamore Spirit. I have never tried it. Believe it or not, is out there and everywhere as this particular... I can't find a place to put this. There. As out there and everywhere as Sagamore Spirit seems to be, I've still never tried it. This is a low proofer, but I've heard nothing but good, so this is going to be next week. We are on Wednesdays until September 15th. On September 15th, we revert back to Thursdays. I just got too much competing stuff going on. I hope to see you back here next week for Sagamore Spirit, and again in September when we move back to Thursdays again. If this works better for you, though, if Wednesdays works better for you, let me know. If you like Wednesdays better, I know I've had some notes from some people that don't like the Wednesdays, they like the Thursdays. So let me know which works better for you. Not only for your schedule as far as when you're watching, but also your schedule is when you might possibly pick up a bottle of Booker's or Sagamore or High West or Heaven's Door or whatever it is we're tasting for the weekend. You know, I had been doing these on the weekend, and Aaron, my friend, he suggested that maybe I should do them earlier in the week so people can have choices going into the weekend. So that's why we started doing Thursdays. But if Wednesdays works better for you, I know a lot of releases come on Wednesdays throughout the state. Let me know. Let me know which one works better for you, and we'll try to keep it there. I know some people will be upset if we keep it on Wednesdays, but if it works better for the majority, then we'll do that. All right. So hey, we've been here a little while. Time to go. Quinn, Thursdays for you. All right. Thank you for that. John's watching. John, you're just at the tail end here. Sagamore Double Oak is phenomenal. That is not what this is. This is not Double Oak. Nope. This is the one I found. They had done, Central Ohio Bourbon Enthusiasts had done a special barrel of Sagamore Spirit, and they named it after them. It's COWS, Central Ohio Whiskey Society, I guess is what it is. Whiskey Society. Anyway, they had done a special barrel, and they did Sagamore Spirit, which got me interested in Sagamore Spirit. I was not able to get their release, their barrel pick, but I was able to get this. So I'll drink this, and we'll try it. We'll see what we think of it. But if you're wanting to, help out by bringing that Double Oak down, I will not complain. All right. So Spencer, thanks for joining us. Quinn, everybody else. Just finished mowing the yard. Wait. You skipped the Bourbcast to mow the yard? Really? All right, gang. All right. All right, Michael, everybody else, thank you so much. We've got a nice clutch of people watching tonight. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We will see you next Wednesday for Sagamore Spirit. If you get a chance to pick up the Booker's, do it and, drink it slow. Take your time. I will have another pour of this. Now that I put it away, in spirit, I'm going to get it back out. I'm going to have another pour, and I'm going to drink it slow throughout the evening and see what it does. Just take my time with it. That one glass may last me an hour. And I'm just going to take my time and just see what it does with taking my time. Easing it up. All right? All right. Going back to work on Tuesday. Well, we got to find some time to fish before you go back to work. I got a busy few days coming up, but I'll find time. I got invited fishing tonight, and I couldn't go because we're here doing this, which I would actually prefer to do. I love to fish, but I like to drink. And I love to do these reviews, and I love to have you guys with me. So this is more important. But you got to fish at least one more time before you go back to work, dude. Just saying. All right, guys. You have yourselves a fantabulous what's left of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you had as much fun as I do.